What's up guys, welcome back. So in this video we're going to be fixing this layout here and fixing this so it'll hover and highlight like that, and we will remove this error we have in the console right now, or this warning. It's about the nested thing. So what we really need to do is, for example, our nav bar here, we need to be able to pass in the history so that way we can push instead of using link. So what I'm thinking is I can go into the routes index and I can just render this nav bar as a route. And the path I'm going to give it is just the home one. That way, and what I'll do is I'm not going to put exact like we do here, so it'll render on every single page. And instead of component, I'm going to use render. Whoops. Whatever. We'll just retype it. I thought I had it saved. Alright, and then we'll pass in the props. So first I just want to see if this will render. If it does, then we can go in and add history. Because now we have two routes, which both are on the home page. Oh, that looked like it did work. Very cool. So now, this guy, we're passing in the browser prop in here. So now, or the history prop, so we can get the history. And so what I can do here, add recipe, is going to be an on click. So now what we will do is we'll do history.push and we'll do /recipes/add and get rid of the link. And do we just need to save? Oh, there we go. And now we need to pass in history to both log in and log out. That way they can use it there. History. So on click, and then yep, we are just going to copy and paste /sign up. And so we're just going to do this for every one, and we can get rid of the parentheses. So now login, so on click, history.push /login, and then just two more. So get history here, and then on click, history.push /profile /recipes. And then we already have an on click for the log out here. So what we'll do two things. We will log out, and then we'll take you to the next page. So we'll do history.push. And I think I want to just keep this on one line actually. It doesn't look terrible. I just keep bumping the button. Alright, there we go. Up, and just need to put my... Looks kind of weird. Maybe when I reformat with GSLint, it'll fix it. Okay. And we don't need the link anymore. Let's see if that fixes it. So if I hover, cool, gives it that shade that I wanted. If I click, awesome, takes me there. Log out, cool, sign up works, log in. Alright, all the buttons are working, nice. So now we want to do the same thing for this card layout. So card layout is what we'll, our component here, so recipe card. So basically we just need to pass this prop all the way down. So the first one's going to be prop, is going to be the props, and we don't even need I. So here we'll get history, and then we'll create an on-click. History.push, then we'll do /view, and then put in the ID. Now we can remove the link. And now we need to add the key back here. Also, just a quick note, if you're wondering why we were using the key and using the ID here instead of, for example, I, that's because let's say you're rendering, let's just do a comment here. Let's say you have, let's say the ID of 1, actually you have a list of A, B, C, so those are your 3 items, and let's say this is in index 1, this is in index 2, this is index 3. So if you use the key 1, 2, 3, and then a new item was added to the front of the list, maybe T, now this is index 1, sorry, 0 we should start at. So notice how all these will get bumped now, because this was originally like this. So now all the keys are changing. So all these will get re-rendered even though only one changed, right? So if I actually use their IDs, then only one would re-render. So if that didn't make sense, basically if you use a unique ID, that won't change, whereas the index will. This will save you, it'll be faster and will render less when re-rendering. So we need to pass this history prop all the way down. So recipe list, we basically need to get from history here, and then we're just going to pass it to a recipe card here. Actually, okay, we can just pass it as a second parameter. Oops, not that one. There we go. Getting the history, getting passed from that, and then recipe list, which we're grabbing from single page. Nope, my recipes and home. So, and history is equal to this dot props dot history. Same for my recipes. Pass in history. And funny enough here, why did I create a recipe list if all it does is this, and then in my single, enter my recipes here, I'm not even using that. Interesting. So let's actually use the component that we created. So now we're going to copy this. So using recipe card here, should be using recipe list from recipe list. And then here, all this is going to be is a recipe list, and then we'll pass in as the prop recipes, this dot props my recipes, and then history will pass in as this dot props history. Awesome. So now we just need to make sure my recipe and home are both getting that, are getting history. So home is currently not. My recipes here is currently not either. And this function, we basically, okay, so what we're gonna do is do render props, and we'll put as a second parameter props, and then the same thing for this one, render props, second parameter props. So now we need to fix our get user. in our other one. So the second one, we take some extra props, which we then put on this thing, props. And the default for this is an empty object. And fix, we'll worry about that later when we do some linting. Same thing for this guy. Props and props as well. Now we shouldn't be seeing a link here. Oh, looks like, is there a problem rendering, or is that just the log preserving? Let's refresh and see what happened. Okay, a valid React element must be returned. You may have returned undefined or invalid from React render. So props. Okay, I didn't like this. Let's remove the props. Okay, not those. So obviously it's not liking this. Require authentication, which should return. I guess require authentication we need to actually call. Because, okay, what does require authentication return? Is a function that we call, and we return a connected component. That's what we wanted. That looks good. Maybe I just need to do like that. I think I just needed to wrap this like that. That looked really weird, but that I think I needed to just wrap it with curly braces maybe. Because we're calling a function in render. Let's see if that does anything. Up looks like unexpected token. Maybe it doesn't like that. Why is it unexpected though? Is it because I didn't do that? No. Okay, this is interesting. So render props. We pass in here. And then we just are displaying get user. Theoretically that should work. Alright, so it's getting mad, I'm assuming, particularly at this one. At get user, even though get user is just returning a component that's authenticated, which is odd. I'm assuming it's going to have the same problem if I go to the profile page. But if I go to, for example, login, that one works. Okay. So the problem is with this render function where it doesn't like that I call a function to get the component. What if I const wrapped home and all it does is call get user with home and props that it gets from here. And then here what I'm going to do is call the wrapped home function, and then I pass in my props. Okay, that might do it. Let's see. My syntax is just basically a little bit off. Okay, again, we're not returning a valid. Huh. Okay. Just refresh. Okay, so valid. A valid must be returned. You may return undefined. Okay, so it doesn't like it. What if I did like a div here? Maybe that will work. Yep. That's funny. So the cards are not showing up. So I wonder why that is. But at least this is working. So now I can do the same thing. And actually here what we can do is we can pass in I was gonna say like if we could make this generic and use it for here too, but this is get user. Let's make another one. This will be wrapped profile. And we'll call require authentication on it. And then here we will do my recipes. And now we will do the wrapped profile, passing in the props. Okay, cool. Refresh. This page doesn't work. Let's see if the other page is working. Okay, both of them are not working. Now if I come into React, we can look at what should be rendering. So if I come, we're on the home route, yep. So we should be wrapped home here. Div, oh. Well, maybe it's not working. Get user. It's not liking this higher order function that I'm doing. Okay, so scrap this. We're just going to we're going to do things slightly differently because this is annoying me. So we really just need to give recipe card things. So I'm actually just going to undo everything I just did. So we're just going to do it the regular old way. We're going to use component instead of render. Yeah, okay, that stays the same. Get user stays the same. Get user, and we don't need to do this prop thing anymore. We can forget about that. And then on auth, don't need that. So don't need that. There was another way, I think it was called with data, which I can do on this recipe card. So React router with data. And it wraps the component and that injects basically history into it. So if I can find, we'll just go to React router docs. I know exactly where it is. Go to web. Oh, that loaded fast. Okay, it was in Redux. So now we want to do with router. I don't know if I need to connect it still. We'll see. We're gonna try doing this with router. So this guy with router, and then we'll call with router. And then from the recipe, this guy, we'll leave that for now, I suppose, because we won't pass history in. Okay, that worked. So now we don't have to pass history all the way down. Should have done that from the beginning. That made more sense, because then you don't have to pass history down from all these different pages. I was thinking it had to like not make it a peer function anymore, but I can even the card can stay a peer function too. So now I can just remove all those things that I just added without the history. Okay, cool. Now our cards work. Let's make sure when I click on them it takes us to the right page though, and it doesn't. Okay, so let's see what's going on there. So with data, I got a little I jumped the gun, possibly. Oh, hee. It's going to be a prop passed in. So history. Cool. That's all it was. All right, and now notice how they're nice. They're spread out nicely. Now if I go here, we should be able to work there as well. Okay, awesome. We're good. So that's it for this video. That took longer than it should have to get the history, but React Router with the new version has changed up things quite a bit and made it a little bit weird. So that's all for this video. In the next one, what I think we'll do is let's go through the actions and just remove all the dead actions. So that's what's coming up next. I'll see you guys then.